Hey Lyrans, welcome to Starseed Energetics. This is going to be your August reading, even though it's like a little bit later. Let's just all agree that we're not even on a linear timeline. So how about we just pretend like it's the beginning of August? It is the beginning of August. I'm just like 4 days late in uploading this. But for the rest of the month, you can take note of this, and this is all divine timing. And actually, I recorded the Archangel ones first because I don't know. And then I just blew the whole thing because the mic wasn't at the right setting. So it's a sign that I start with Lyran's first because I skipped Lyran's for a couple of readings. So I had somebody ask me in one of the comments if I'm gonna do anything for vegans, and for now let me just go with Lyran's because it's from the same kind of star system. And when I get more time to do more readings, or if I get a lot of people who want it for vegans, then I'll go into vegans. But for now, let's stick to Lyran's. And I know that most people, all people, have a lot of different heritage points, like inception points, so you can find a lot of resonant messages through different star systems, okay? Okay. All right, cool. I think I've got to pull a couple more cards for that outcome because it's a little ambiguous. Wow, soulmate cards. I mean, for the Archangels, I don't know if you're gonna watch that later if you identify as Archangels as well, but the previous reading that I did that I blew was about just being very introverted, solitude, getting acquainted with all of your inner spaces for that month of August. But for you, that's not the case. You have an obvious soulmate relationship card. And if you know me as a person, romantic relationships are not usually something that I like to like really pay attention to. I'm more of that kind of person who likes talking more about inner spaces and this conceptual spiritual relationship that you have with yourself. But time and time again, when certain cards show up that are just so obviously romantic, then I have to point it out. But to me, actually, this doesn't even feel all that romantic. It actually, that could be one of it, but it actually feels more like your soul family coming together to work on a mission together. And just, you know, when I say that you have a mission together, it's just an external manifestation of what you're actually supposed to do, which is just link up, grid up. And just linking up energetically is your mission, because when you link up, even if you don't end up doing a project together, you're actually magnifying this energy and creating new grids. But it's going to actually, in a ripple, manifest as you working on really super cool projects together. So, I mean, that was the outcome, and it just came flying out anyway. And the actual bottom of the deck is the Six of Cups, which to me is a very much of a soul family card, a soul mate card from various different generations of timelines and past lives, you know? So that's the overall kind of vibe to your reading. Let me pull a couple of other cards before I start flipping the rest of these positions over. Weird. It's getting weird for you. It's getting weird. All right. Give me just 1 second till I pull just one more card. Just a general overlying energy. So, the overall message that you have here is Bilan, which I think these cards are from Crystal Messi, who is my friend from Solvana, actually, which is a project that I'm working on. It's a spiritual technology project, and she's one of the dear members of this spiritual technology. And she made these oracle cards, so it's in some sort of a foreign language. I think it's in, I don't know what language this is, actually. Sorry, I'm not good at linear things like geography or dates, so yeah, I don't know. But clearly this the picture is a light language, and it's appraisal. It's talking about your need to look at all the things that you've been through and kind of take into consideration what qualities they allowed you to develop. And this is something that you might want to do by writing them down. So think of all the challenges that you've had in your life so far and what that's allowed you to cultivate. So even if you have really bad memories, because to me, like, I shuffled one of these decks, which is the Osho Tarot, and I got these really crazy energies, I think coming from the past. And then the tarot energy is actually very positive. So here you have schizophrenia, which is like not being able to be in the present moment because you're holding on, gripping on so tightly to the past and also to your future. Then you have this sorrow card, which is kind of like this voice of self-pity, or just even loving this kind of sorrow frequency, because, you know, on a certain level, even sorrow is such an interesting frequency that you enjoy it. Not the human level, but just the higher levels. Even if it's fifth dimensional, some of the aspects of yourself really enjoy this frequency in terms of like this dramatic adrenaline rush of having to deal with this kind of stress. But this is just conditioning. Like, this isn't even natural to you. So it's one thing to have these come up as your past energy, that you're not able to let go of the past and the future, that you're constantly in a state of anxiety and this kind of undertone of sorrow. But this has always been your conditioning in order to kind of hold you back until this divine timing where everything's going to unfold perfectly. And in your recent past, you had this Ace of Pentacles, which means that you've successfully manifested something in the physical world. So think back to what this means. Was it a job, a career, monetary thing, a physical project, any physical manifestation that you had? Now, in your present position is the King of Cups. So to me, you've learned how to navigate through this emotional navigational system, wherein you're able to really you gotta hang on. Like, you know how you're supposed to feel into things and feel into situations, and that's how you can kind of create your reality in an easier way than trying to control your thoughts, because feelings are just very more noticeable than some thoughts that can just pass through your mind. But you've been victorious in just staying at a certain level of emotion. Like, you don't buy into necessarily all of the different socially conditioned states of emotions and beings, such as anxiety and sorrow. Like this, so this is the conditioning that's dying out, actually, because you've been successful in doing this. But the reason why these are coming up, because it's very clear to me, you know, this comes up also with the Ten of Swords, which means that this is over. But why do they have the need to kind of really specify that you went through this? And it's because this appraisal card kind of explains, what have you learned to condition yourself with through this, going through this? What have you learned from going through these phases of being so clingy to your past and your future and having this kind of sorrow, this undertone of sorrow? What did you learn? Have you perhaps learned that the nature of sorrow is for the sake of itself rather than anchoring it somewhere? It's just a frequency. It's simply a frequency. No matter what your brain attaches the situations to, it's always just a frequency. And it's also a conditioning that you're breaking out of, because look, it says you're breaking out of it. This is the death paradigm, the dead paradigm. And actually what this is telling me is to, when you look at your past previous timelines and your past lives, and even when your past memories come up, like it says on the bottom of the deck with the Six of Cups, you need to look at it without any sentimentality. You need to look at and passively observe these memories without attaching some sort of personal narrative to it or looking at it from a subjective perspective. I want you to really look at it like as an observer, without thinking like, oh my god, I went through this and that, like, and this is the person that I am. What you invest that kind of energy into will continue to live on. And so what you can do is just give your energy towards the happier moments in your life, the awesome lessons that you've learned, but you don't necessarily have to hold on to this as if your lesson will go away if you let this go. Your lessons are not going to go away if you let this go. Just remember the lessons and the cultivation of the positive character traits that you've accomplished, because it's already coded in you. But give a rest to all of these past paradigms. Like, you could literally just forget these all happened, and I promise you that all of the lessons will stay with you even if you let these emotional frequencies go. These are like kind of these etheric cords that I sense around you, and it also has to do with the fact that it's very likely that when these etheric cords are all there, you want to hold on to this as a story. Like, you want to explain to people, this is how I got here and this is how I progressed. But also remember that in this next dimension that we're currently living, in this fifth dimension, most people who are going to be in your environment through this ascension are not going to be a third dimensional human. They're also going to be a fifth dimensional human, which means that they're going to care less about where you came from. They're not going to judge you based on what you've gone through. They're likely going to just judge you, not judge you, but gauge you based on your current frequency and just understand you on the level of a higher self, instead of like really observing you from that perspective. Not that you should care about what other people think, but don't fear that other people are going to lose your sense of identity just because you let all of these previous memories go. The previous memories you will be able to access through your Akashic records when it's necessary and when it's relevant. But when you let this go, and when you're thinking about how you're going to, you know, have this kind of soul memory, soul family kind of interaction, and just being able to recognize in a higher dimension, the different collectives, they always are able to tell by energetic frequency, almost as if when you're listening to a song or when you smell something. That's a good example. When you smell a certain perfume that you used to wear in like 10 years ago, it will all of a sudden bring up all of these memories, even though you don't remember what the perfume is called. It'll just like make you remember all the things that you used to do, where you used to wear it to. And that's kind of the similar way in which you are going to feel to other people. You're going to be a very specific blend of scents. And even if the perfume is like the same kind of floral scent, for example, or musky, they all have a different scent according to what's mixed with it in what proportion. So there's like 100, 300,000 different kinds of musky perfumes, but they all kind of smell different. They all have a different energetic frequency, and that's what you are, is this melange of frequencies that you don't need to explain where you came from, what you've gone through, and what that means narratively, because narratives in this kind of way is very human, and we're not human anymore. Like, we're not just regular humans anymore. So even other people, they're not going to look at you that way. I hope this has been helpful, because that was a very like long spiel, so hopefully some of you resonate with what I'm saying. So, I mean, it shows me that whatever you've manifested, even if you fear that this could go like haywire at a certain point, this assures because like on the foundation, you're very new to this. You're very new to this manifestation, and you're like, you know, at the beginning stages of giving birth to something that's like really beyond you. That is like this soul purpose, this mission, this manifestation of this life you're living, this frequency rebirth that you're having is going to manifest as some sort of a creative project, right? Because procreation for most of us starseeds come primarily from creative projects more than babies for most of us, because it's just, you know, it makes more sense. Like procreation in terms of humans, yeah, it makes sense for a lot of people biologically, but for a lot of other people who are, you know, more in tune with immortality, they don't feel this urge to procreate in terms of biology. So they constantly make new realities, they make new projects. So there's an assurance that you're going to be successful at it, in case you were not sure. But definitely as a future outcome, you have this also Emperor, who is a person. I think this has to do with your soul family, or even just like a father figure, maybe a father figure from a previous lifetime. Somebody who was a father figure in your previous lifetime is coming into your life this time as part of your soul family to help you with this mission and really get in tune with your mission and do it together. And yeah, so this paradigm, this paradigm comes to a close, like it's really done. And the last card is Justice, which means everything that you've ever been through is really going to show its value in your life and more. Like it's really gonna pay off, even though that's not the word I want to use. I don't know what other human words to use to describe the result of this. It's just dime. Okay, so that was the end of your reading. I'm gonna try to keep these readings to the point, and you know, because when I start doing these 30-minute readings, it really, I start to procrastinate on doing all of them. So if you resonate with this reading, and you obviously will have other star systems that you align with, because everybody has various different star systems in their soul memory, unless you're very rare case. So catch me on other readings that you resonate with this month. And thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much. Thank you for choosing to resonate with this bandwidth, and I will see you later. Have a good month. Bye.